Well, good morning. Thank you for joining me. Brand image, customer engagement, customer experience. Now, one thing I want to touch on, having spent a bit of time with some clients this week, is fear. Self-limiting beliefs, as we call them in the NLP world. It's a fear of taking the next step, of going forward. And I want to put this into perspective for you. An amazing business I've been working with, turning over good money, and I mean good money, week on week, month on month, continued growth. The business owner and the board of directors have got an idea as to where the company's going, and they've laid plans and they've put it all together. And as it's gone on, it's 3 years, 4 years, yeah, this is happening, we're on the path. And I happen to say to them, when are you starting this? Well, what do you mean now? We're on the way. No. You haven't done a single thing. You've talked about it. You've written it down on paper, which I appreciate is a forward step. But you haven't taken action. You need to take action from inspired growth. And I mean this in the politest way. And I've been coaching and mentoring this week. And it's about taking that next step. Now, in a business, you've got money coming in. And it's very easy to sit back on your laurels, talk a good story, but not take action. And it's the same with the clients I've had this week. They talk a good story, but not one of them has stepped up and taken action. And we're not talking about a vast change. We're talking about another gear. And we talk about another gear, and that's all it is. And we talk about in a racing environment, you go from first gear to second gear to third gear, or it's a bit quick, I'll stay in third, I won't push it up to fourth or to fifth or to go full throttle. But you can only go up a gear when you're ready. But you're ready. And I mean that there's no right time to be ready. It's just got to do it. If you're already at third gear, dropping into fourth isn't going to make a lot of difference. But it's going to give you a little bit of momentum. It's not going to be scary. It's not going to be frightening. But the thing that's holding you back is you believe fourth gear's faster. Fourth gear's a little bit more. And it's the same with business. You've got an idea that you've been growing, you've been nurturing. You've talked about it. You've said, oh, this is happening and this is... But in the last 3 or 4 years, you haven't done anything. It's time to step forward. It's time, if you believe in that idea, and it's a self-belief. You hear me all the time talking about the Riffy or the Great Dream. About the law of attraction. About doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And it's time to step up. It's time to move on. Now, when you've got a business that I've just visited, it's turning over a lot of money. It's got nearly 35 staff it employs on a monthly basis, plus some part-times. But they've got this great idea, and it sounds amazing, and it looks amazing on paper, and it's going to work. But the last 3 years, they haven't really taken a step towards it. They haven't taken anybody on that can go that next step. They're still doing the same thing and getting the same results. And like, I've had to sit down with them today and put my consultant's head on and go, right, put aside X amount of money, X amount of time, X amount of resources, make it happen. Because if you don't take that next step, it isn't going to happen. And at the moment, the business is kind of there and we're there, but it needs to go up. It doesn't need, because as it's sitting here like this, the competitors are chasing behind it. Sooner or later, it needs to take off. And if you keep doing this, your competitors will. So fundamentally, you've got to set a time and you've got to say, I need to do this. Get it down on paper. They've done that. Have they put any resources to it? No, not really. Have they given anybody to do the job? No, not really. It's a lot of talk, a lot of hot air in some respects. But it's a great idea. And there comes a point in time when you've got to take that jump. You've got to go forward and you've got to make a difference. You've got to follow your heart. You've got to follow your instincts. And in business, it's the same. Just set aside some money and go, right, this is the project I'm going to do. I'm going to need X amount of money. I'm going to need X amount of time. Put it to one side. That's what I'm taking a risk on. It's a calculated risk. Let's go for it. And it's the same with shooting. It's the same with golf, football, clay target shooting, archery. You enter a higher league. You enter a better competition to challenge yourself. You're never going to be ready to step up. You've just got to step up. And I can tell you that from myself. You know, I've been doing motorsport mostly all my life. Riding club level, regional level, national level. But there comes a point you've just got to take yourself out and go, I'm going to go and do a world championship, a British championship, a European championship. I'm going to go and step up and go and do it because I'm not going to learn. And I can tell you this in motorsport. You go to a club meeting and you're pretty, you're a big fish, little pond. You're fifth, you're sixth, you're seventh. You go to a regional meeting, you might drop down to 10th, to 20th, to 25th. But the pace is faster. And everything's a little bit better and everything's a little bit bigger. And then you go to British Championships, then you go to European. But until you challenge yourself and say, you know what, let's go and have a go. Forget about what's the worst that can happen. The worst that can happen is that you stay where you are and you be a big fish in a little pond. But sooner or later, you're going to run out of things to do. You're going to run out of oxygen to breathe. So challenge yourself, but step aside and go, right, this is what I'm doing. This is the resources. This is the time I need. This is where I'm going to do it. And then go and do it. So put your business head on, put your entrepreneur head on, and understand the dreams, the goals, the targets that you've set yourself. You understand them, you breathe in them, you walk in them, you're talking them, you're smelling them. This is where I want to be. This is my goal. What the hell have you done to start on that path? Now, I talk about the law of attraction and I talk about the path is always lit. But if you keep putting negative boundaries in, oh yeah, I was going to do this, but what? But what? What happens if it does work? You've never given yourself a chance. And the longer you dilly and dally, and the longer you keep pulling yourself back, there comes a time you've got to turn around, cut the cord, and go, I'm going forward. Business is still going to be business. Your main business is still going to carry on. Your main life is still going to carry on, but you can start going down this path. Get some momentum. You've had years of turning the cogs, getting the ideas. Take the momentum, make the step, go forward. Follow your heart's desire. So whether you read this and you listen to this as a personal level, it's kick up the arse, go do what you've got to do. Whether you take it as a business and actually go, no, Andrew, right, I've been talking about my business development, my ground development, my event development. What do I need to do? Put some money by, put some time by. It's not a risk now because the business is still making X and Y. It's still doing X and Y. I need to put that into it. I need to do that. And as soon as that's there, do it. But you're starting to make momentum. As I talked about a business I've seen this week, they're all talk, and I don't mean that in the rude sense. Yeah, we're going to take somebody on, he's going to take us forward. Well, you haven't done it yet. You've been talking about it for 6 months. Surely you've got enough money. Yeah, we have. You know what they want to do. Yeah. You know the job role. Yeah. You've got a candidate in mind. Yeah. Why haven't you done it? Well, why haven't you done it? Just a simple, why haven't you done it? What are you scared about? It's going to work. We know it's going to work. It's what the business has done and it's the next logical step. But there's a fear, there's a self-limiting belief. And sometimes you have to go back in and go, what am I afraid of? What am I scared of? And in most cases, conversation today, change. You're happy with what you're doing. You're doing the same thing, getting the same results. And you might whinge or you might quibble, but you're actually happy with that. You're content. That next step might mean a bit more. But at the end of the day, if you manage it right, it's going to be the next logical step. It will be the next process. It's a bit like in some respects going up the stairs, or me at a competition going from the third step of the podium to the second step to the first step. It's a logical progression. If you're already getting in the top 5, to get in the top 3 is not much more difficult. To get on the top step of the podium isn't much more difficult. So just bear that in mind. It's a mindset. And I've spent a lot of time with clients this week talking about mindset, self-limiting belief, blockers, things that they're putting in the way, hurdles to go and do something. And you're going to say, oh, and the grass is always greener. It isn't when we get there. No. What you're not understanding is by putting time and effort and everything aside, you're fertilising the land, you're growing the land, you're nurturing the land. It will be greener because you're making it greener. But what you're saying at the moment is, yeah, I've thrown the grass seed over there. Yeah, that's my idea. It's going to be mega. Have you watered it? No. Have you fed it? No. So bottom line is understand what's your limiting belief, what's stopping you. And then take that step forward. And it's the next logical step. Left, right. You don't go left, right, oh, I'll go back a bit. Left, oh, I'll go back a bit. Think about what's stopping you and overcome it. So as a coach and a consultant, and there are plenty of them out there, we will help you overcome those hurdles. We unlock your power within. But just take a moment and go, what do I want? And can I start doing it now? Take that step now. Anyway, we're going to crack on for the rest of the day. Have a good day, have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.